Welcome to Rev.io Sync, linking with no recommendation. So in many cases, you will get a recommendation on some of your nodes where the system will give you a recommendation for what it sees in the system and a probable match. And we went over that in an earlier video. But sometimes you'll have nodes that don't have a match found. So what do you do with those? So you have a few options. If the service already exists and you just need to link it to the service, you can click on Link to Existing Service. The other options are if the service doesn't exist at all, you can create the service, you can create that new service on an existing customer, or if the entire customer hasn't been created, then you can create a customer and then link to the service on that customer. So let's start with linking to an existing service. So in this case, I have this group. The icon tells me this is a group and these are users and it is not linked. I don't have the green check mark. So let's look at this group, and I'm going to flip over and just show you in Rev.io this group. So I'm on an account, and if I scroll down to the bottom to where all the services are, and if I filter on groups, I'll see I've got two groups here. We'll say that I know that this one needs to go on this service here. So I'm going to make a note of this service ID 473530. So 473530 is where this one needs to link. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Link to Existing Service and start typing that 473530, and it's going to bring up this BroadWorks group service. It'll bring up the products in that package as they exist. If these are all 0 products, then you'd have to save it and then go in and edit that service to change the rate on those products if you needed to do that. One way around this is to put the typical pricing on the products in the product catalog so that it pulls it through for you. So if I know this is supposed to be a BroadWorks group, it's supposed to include all of these products, then I'll just click Save. And now it's linked to that customer. This BroadWorks group is now linked to this customer and it's linked to that service. Make sure you come down here to the Fields section and click on the Sync Fields tab to pull those fields from the source over into Rev.io as well. If I were to navigate back to this customer, it will take a few minutes for you to see, but that service would then be updated with the information in the fields that it would pull from. So let's choose another one that doesn't have a recommendation. I'm going to click on this user here and notice that there is no recommendation for this. So I'm going to say that I want to create a new service on that existing customer for this one. To do that, I'm just going to click on Create New Service. And I'm going to start typing the customer that I want. You can type by name and then choose from the list, or if you have the customer ID, you can type that in and then choose it based on the customer ID. You're going to select which provider it is. I'm on BroadWorks. You'll select the package. We're going to call this a basic user package. And then the service type is going to be a BroadWorks user. Can select that, and then it's going to ask you how you want to bill for this service. Now if you're going in and auditing your records and you realize that this user should have been billing since a certain point in time, you can click on specific date and you can populate. So if that was 2 months ago and you needed to back bill, maybe it went active April 15th, you can select that here and it will bill it back to that point. The other options are to not bill it at all for the cycle that we're in now, but the next time this customer bills, it would include this user in that billing. If you select this billing period, then it's going to issue an adjustment. So if I didn't bill this user or this service for the current month that I'm in, and I select this billing period, then it's going to go in and back bill for this billing period and put that on the next bill. You can also choose today. If it went active today and you're getting notification of that, you can select today and it would prorate based on today's date instead of prorating based on a specific date in the past that you've chosen. So you have those options for choosing how you want to bill for this service that you're adding in. I'm going to say billing for a next billing period, and then I'll just hit save. and you go ahead and get that green check mark, meaning that it's matched to this customer with the identifiers on that service now as a BroadWorks user. And then again, remember to go down here and click the Sync Fields button if you'd like to move those fields over from the source into Rev.io. So let's say you find an instance where the customer hasn't even been created yet. So in Rev.io, here's an enterprise and a group and some users under here. So if the enterprise hasn't even been put on an account and there's no recommendation, you can create that customer right from here. So this will take you to the request screen just as if you had clicked on customer create new. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly create. I'm going to say no bill so I don't have to fill anything out. You'd fill out as much of this form as you normally would. And I'll click next. I'm just going to try and get through it quickly. And we'll just put in an address. I'm going to click again. I'm just going to try and get through as populating as little of this as possible. I'm going to skip address validation and I'm going to continue to the request. We'll create that. That creates the customer in a prospect status. Then I'm going to choose the account. Then I'm going to choose the location and add it so that I see the location in a box. I'll hit save and continue. And we're going to add a service. We'll pick our location. Our service type is going to be BroadWorks Enterprise. Provider is BroadWorks. We'll put, if I flip back over to BroadWorks, this is the one that we are trying to sync. So it's majorenterprise.com is the identifier. So over here, I'm just going to type in both of those fields. I'll check to see the package that I need to put in here. That will pull in the products down here. I can go in and alter the pricing, whatever I need to do there. And then I'm going to hit save. Now I could go in and add all of the different services here while I'm in the request format if I'd like, and go ahead and link those in this way and then go back and sync them up afterwards. Or I can use the function where I can create the services for everything that I need to sync in once this main customer account is done. Either way you want to do it. I'm just going to put this one service on here for now, and I'm going to select save and continue. And then I'm going to approve the request, which will create the account. So from here, we're going to navigate back to the sync area, and now going to link this to an existing service. I'm going to go back to this customer. This is the service here. And we'll save that. So now it's linked to that customer, to that service. You could type in the service ID or that identifier and it will find it. And then if I look underneath that, now I can go to the major enterprise and I can create a new service for this one on that same customer. So it's the enterprise account was the customer that I created. So we're going to give this the group package, it's standard group. The service type is going to be a BroadWorks group. The provider is BroadWorks. And then I can choose how I want this to bill as well. We're going to stay with the next billing period and then hit save here. And that will create that new service, so a group, a BroadWorks group, on the same account that we created the BroadWorks Enterprise on. So now if I go back to my customer, enterprise account, and refresh that, down here at the bottom, now I see two I see the enterprise and the group. I haven't completed that order. When I complete that, this one will move to active status, but the service that I just created for the BroadWorks group is here. And then I can create additional services for the users that are under this as well. So I can go and do this. And again, when I created the request, I could have created the enterprise, the group, and all three users at the same time. If you don't create them all at the same time on the request, then you can just go back to sync and then create the services from here. Either way you choose to do it. So once all of these are linked, they'll get the green check marks. This will get a green check mark here, and then the enterprise would check mark here. You get the check mark at the top level once everything underneath it has been either synced or hidden. So that's using sync to link services when there are no recommendations provided. Thanks for watching.